Welcome to Dreams and Wings, and welcome to Milford Sound in South Island of New Zealand. It's a beautiful location. Even in the sim it looks pretty cracking. This is ORBX Milford Sound. I don't know if you've seen the real world location. If you have, you're very lucky. I was looking at some videos on YouTube of it earlier, and it's just absolutely stunning here. Milford Sound itself is a fjord, and this is the Fiordland National Park on South Island of New Zealand. Rudyard Kipling actually described this as one of the 8 wonders of the world, and it is just stunning. It's home to P3Dv5 Marine Reserve. P3Dv5, which I'm probably butchering, so my apologies, is the Maori name given to this area. And absolutely stunning, formed by glaciation. It's funny how, for me, a lot of the most beautiful parts of the world were formed by glaciation. You think of areas at the highlands of the Lake District. There's just something about it that shapes beautiful terrain. But anyway, I'm not going to start waffling on about that because, hey, you don't want to hear that. Wildlife, it's home to seals, dolphins and whales, and you also get the odd penguin knocking around, although I'm not seeing any penguins at the moment, and woe betide any penguin that gets in the way of this Mustang. So what we're flying today is the A2A Simulations Civ variant of the P-51D. So what we've got here is a slightly more contemporary cockpit with some modern avionics, modern radios, and we've got the Flight 1 GTN 650 here, which we're not really going to be using to its full extent, but we will have our route plugged in. And what we're going to be doing is flying here from Milford Sound to Queenstown, which is a nice little trip. Will take us up through that gap over there and into some nice scenery. What we'll do to start off, though, is we'll take off, head over that way there into the fjord. Try not to make any Monty Python references there, and then we'll head back over that way and go over to Queenstown and see some nice scenery. So let's get cracking. Right, so we're fueled up. We've done a lot of the preliminaries. One of those words that never quite come out right the first time. Okay, let me just move my seat a bit. Check that, and let's get the old checklist up. It's a hot day today, 27 degrees. Right, so flaps I will set to up. Gear is most definitely down because that's where we want it to be when we're on the ground. Coolant doors to auto. Now, I've seen a really good video by Mark for Harvard, and I'll put a link for it below. And this guy's the real deal. He's a real warbird pilot. And he starts with these open. So do you know what? If it's good enough for him, it's good enough for me. So I'm going to start with those open. It's a hot day as well, so that will help. Throttle is cracked. There we go. And the prop fully forward. Mixture idle cut off, just mapping mine. There we go. That's working fine. Supercharger is set to auto, and fuel cut off on. Fuel tank select. Going to start with the fuselage tank. Got a very small amount of fuel in there, but we'll start with that. Mags are off. Do you know, I've been flying the military, so I was looking for the mags in this are there on a more conventional modern key switch. The wheel brakes are on. Let's just double check that actually. Let's put down, there we go, and pull that out, and it was actually off. So just as well we checked, eh? Safety first, people. Oxygen, we're not going to be worrying about that. Let's just make sure the lock is off, which it is. Let's check our controls. Yeah, everything good. Yeah, and let's have a look at the old rudder. Yeah, got some good movement there. I've dumped the hydraulics, so we'll put those back on once we start. Okay, battery on. And let's have the generator on. Fuel booster on. And we'll just watch our fuel pressure rise over here. There she goes. And it's quite a warm day today, so I'm not going to give it a good long prime. We're going to give it 3 seconds because I'm not that brave. 1, 2, 3. Okie doke. Just have another quick look around. So what I'm going to do now is get ready also on the mixture, because we're going to be moving that pretty quickly to run once it all starts off. So here we go. So we're going to count our 6 blades, and then we're going to put the mags on here. So let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There she goes, and mixture to run. Start her off. Check our oil pressure, rising, good. Everything looking good there. So we've got an oil temperature of 16, 17, which is good, oil pressure 90, perfect, and fuel pressure 18, so we're looking good there, and our oil temperature is rising nicely. Okay, let's now pop in that, and let's raise the flaps. So the flaps are already coming up because we raised that in the checklist. And we can see we've got good pressure there, suction is good, everything is looking tickety-boo, we've got good hydraulic pressure. Okay, let's have the avionics on now, just reduce the idle there a little bit, put the radios on, we're not going to be talking to anybody, and there we go. Let's put you on, and let's pop in the ICAO code for Queensland, which is, come on, NZQN. There we go. Nice and easy. Now, this will come up with a direct route, but we're not going to necessarily be flying a direct route, but it doesn't hurt to have it in there, gives a bit of additional information. Let's have a quick look here, check the HSI against the compass, that's looking good. Altimeter setting is looking good. locations. Quick look down, check all our temps, everything's looking good. Now we've not got much in the way of wind, and the wind that we've got is kind of coming from the wrong direction for us to really be able to stick the nose into it on this narrow taxiway. So we're going to do our run up here, where it's nice and safe. Okie doke. Oh no, get back. Right, quick look at the T's and P's. Everything is looking good there. Happy with that. So let's increase the RPM to 2000. And we are going to cycle the prop. See the RPM drop there. And another one. Drop in oil pressure, which is good. And another one just for luck. Okay, let's put that back there, and then we'll do a quick mag check. Good. Good. There we go. And let's bring it back down. Oh, we need to check the supercharger as well, don't we? Not that we're going to be using it, but let's just check for a... come on. There we go, we've got an RPM drop. Check that's back on auto. Yeah. Okay. Let's bring it back down, and now we can put the doors onto auto. Cabin doors cross-check. And I'm also going to now put us onto the right tank. That is the right tank. Do you know what? It's one of those funny things with this. Oh no, that actually does say right tank. Whoa, come back. In some of these, it seems to have left on the right and right on the left. Anyway, okay, there we go. Everything looking good. Another quick check. We will stick our pitot heat on our strobes, just to make sure that we've got some good visibility there. Quick another look around the cockpit. I'm going to bang the landing lights on now. A little bit of right rudder trim, and good to go. Okay, let us line up. Actually, do you know, I'm going to put a little bit of nose down trim, not much, just a little. So for takeoff, we're looking for 61 inches, 3000 RPM. Still getting used to these pedals. Beautiful pedals, great control, but used to my old Cytex where you needed a bit more boot, and this you don't. So again, this is going to be interesting. Mustang, notoriously sprightly on takeoff, and this is a narrow runway, so primary task is to try and keep us on it. Very narrow runway, new rudder pedals, and I've never flown the P51 out of this airport before, so good time to say, obviously this is not a tutorial, this is just us going for a fun flight. Can't guarantee that this is going to go to plan, but we are going to do our best, and that's what simulators are for, practicing and trying to get it right. So let's have stick back, going to add some power. On the brakes, Let's release the brakes. On the rudders now, stick slowly coming forward. Holding off, keeping that nose straight. Power back on. Hold it steady. And off we go. Gear travelling up. Let's come back on the power. Garmin loving all the terrain round here. Bring the power down a little bit more. Watching that speed. We're at low speed here and the Mustang doesn't like being thrown around at low speed. Back on the speed a little bit. And say goodbye to Milford Sound. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to inhibit. There we go. Because that's not going to get any better. So this is, as I say, ORBX Milford Sound, and we're also using ORBX South Island scenery. Quite spectacular. So we're not on full-on climb power here as such, but we're just keeping it steady. Don't want to go too far. Everything's looking good. We can have the landing lights off now. T's and P's all looking good. Let's get a bit more power on. Prop first, then throttle. Everything looking good. Not the kind of terrain you want to have an engine failure in, put it that way. A little bit of snow on the ground. Absolutely see why they filmed the mind has gone completely blank because I'm busy looking at that mountain. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings? Yeah. Let's come back a little bit now. Try not to rag the engine too much. So anyway, how have you been? I hope you're well. It's been a while since we've done a little flight like this. Hoping to do more of this kind of thing. nothing like taking a warbird up and some good scenery. Also going to get some more videos on the channel of the VA taxi service that I do in the Bonanza VTEL for Andros Meridian Airlines. But sometimes you just can't beat a nice leisurely flight in a warbird. I've been doing a lot of more serious training recently, especially in the T6, and so it's nice just to come out in the Mustang, which is a beautiful aeroplane. If you've got it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's incredibly powerful. Compared to the Spit, it's got some more automated features of it, so things like engine temperature, that kind of thing, you don't have to think about so much. And it's just an absolute lunatic. Tricky in the takeoff, but good fun to fly. Everything's still looking good. A lone tree on top of the mountain there. Let's have a little trim. As you can see from the GPS there, I'm not necessarily following the magenta line at the moment, just having a good look around. Now, one of the weird things about that I've noticed at the moment going on with my weather, I'm using Active Sky, and I've got a preset in, and I don't know if you get this, if you've got the same setup, P3Dv5 Active Sky, but sometimes if I go into a menu, or if I change, like just before I did the outside view, sitting at the back of the runway there, and my clouds disappear, and at some point they'll come back again, but otherwise everything else, the visibility, the wind, is all looking how it should do, just my clouds have vanished. I think it's just one of those weird quirks, probably something to do with using the enhanced atmospherics in version 5. Absolutely beautiful. So, yeah, one of the things that people sometimes talk about is which version, military or civ. The not so helpful answer is both. I'd like to fly the MIL for when I want that authentic World War II fighter cockpit, and then I fly the civ when I want to do a cross-country with some modern avionics. It's just a really simple answer. If you want to do anything with a GPS but in an absolute rocket ship, then this is your answer. It's quite incredible, this ORBX pack. Visibility is limiting it slightly, but I think you can get an impression of just how good it is. This isn't a true Earth, this is one of the FTX style scenery packs, but it is still quite stunning. And we're not far at all from Queensland now. Just said Queensland, didn't I? Queenstown. So we're going to take it nice and low now. Don't you worry, Garmin, we know what we're doing. We are professional pilots. Sort of. Talking to professional pilots, if you haven't caught it, the previous video with thanks next to Andy Goodall went up in his T6 Harvard. So there's some real world aviation going on in there. So as I say, previous video to this, you can't miss it. The thumbnail is Wacky Wabbit in her Desert Air Force camouflage. But some real world aviation going on there, and some fantastic aerobatics that Andy pulled off. And Andy, if you're watching this, which I doubt you are because you're too busy doing the real thing, thank you very much again. So we're picking up quite a bit of turbulence down here, which is quite interesting. Coming in nice and low. Whenever I fly the Mustang, I always feel I don't spend enough time in it, and I think it's something that I need to remedy, really. Spend an awful lot of time in the Mustang and recently in the T6, but I always neglect the Mustang a little bit. It is absolutely beautiful. Now, something just to note here, this aircraft, Glamorous Gal, it's actually an aircraft that was operated by Bob Baranaskas, and it bears the name of his father, Chris Baranaskas, on the side. Chris was a fighter pilot and a B-17 instructor in World War II. Now, A2A actually used this real-world aircraft to help get the physics, the systems and everything correct in the Accu-sim version of the P-51 that we're flying now. So it's nice to know that they've actually gone into the real world and modelled the real world aircraft as closely as they can to create this absolutely fantastic Mustang, which is a joy to fly. Okay, and here we are coming up to Queenstown. Time here now is 7 o'clock in the evening, so we're getting some nice lighting going on. Clouds have still not come back, which is strange, but it was just a bit of strata, so not really much cop at this level. So we'll do a run in to Queenstown. Wind is behind us at the moment, so we're going to want to come back in anyway from the other side. Reminded me, last time I came here I had a problem with the scenery, which was a long time ago, and actually thinking about it, I think it was in version 4, so it'll be interested to see what this looks like. Looks alright so far. Yeah, looks okay. Quite a lot of turbulence. A lot of turbulence. Now the track IR decides to go a bit funny. think what we'll do is we've got a big lump of ground to our right there, so we're going to bring her over here. And then we'll shoot an approach from this side. Always easy when you don't have air traffic control. There we go. Okay, let's lose some speed, shall we? So, power back, forward. It's got our landing lights on now. Come over the top of this hill. Oh, look at that. VOR on the top there. Speed's nice and low, just gear down. Three greens. Start adding in some flat. Get too slow here. As we start getting slow, it becomes a little bit more unstable, and if you suddenly add power in, it can get a bit sticky. Nose in the way a little bit, but that's okay.